when you were on that cross. I can't believe you died for me. Oh Lord,
just thinking about our Lord Jesus Christ,
when I was lost,
and our Savior,
which way to go,
and what He had to do to redeem man.
When you were on that cross, I can't
Just
believe
picture Him walking that Calvary road.
Oh Lord, you gave me eyes to see.
For something He didn't even do.
You showed me which way to go. Oh Lord, you even saved my soul.
Yes, the Lord reigns, robed in majesty. The mountains melt like wax before the Lord, cause He's holy and it has to be. Nothing but pure reverence. By His wisdom and understanding, He stretched out the heavens. Who can endure His presence? Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. We praise Him with all that we've got. Even the seas roar. Let the trees of the forest sing for joy. The rivers clap before the Lord. In case you ever wondered, why was it all done? What is it for, my Lord? The stars, moon, and sun. Even the skies testify to your greatness. Revelation 4:11. Praise for all your creation. It's all for your glory. Through your infinite power, your intricate skill and seed through a blossoming flower. But yet, Father, you were pleased to bruise your own son, so the sinners could come and be redeemed. Amen.
I can't believe you died for me. Oh Lord, you gave me eyes to see. When I was lost, you showed me which way to go. Oh Lord, you even saved my soul. When you were on that cross, I can't believe you died for me. Oh Lord, you gave me eyes to see. When I was lost, you showed me which way to go.
All right, so back again, third week. Want to welcome everybody back to the DU event. We're talking about financial matters, money matters. So welcome back, week number 3. See some new faces. Okay, cool, good. How's everybody feeling?
Excellent.
Good. Everybody good over here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to do a quick review from where we stopped last week, and then we're going to move on into it. So we got one more week of doing this, so we're going to get through as much as we can, and then we'll end it next week. So last week we talked about the order of how God wants us to manage our money. Okay, remember we talked about the love of money and that sort of thing. What happens if you love money and all of that. But then we moved into how He wants us to handle our money. Everybody remember that? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we said number 1 was what? Tithe. Okay, so we tithe because why? We want to build God's kingdom. Now, are we actually giving the money to God? No, we're giving the money to the church. The church takes the money and does what the church needs to do with it. Okay? Keep the lights on, keep the gas running, give you guys snacks, pay pastor, pay his staff, and then if there's any other things we need to do outside of these church walls, then we would have the funds to do that. So that's why you give. Okay, give to the church to further God's kingdom. All right. Then we want to save, and tithe is about 10%. That's what that means. So you want to save at least that amount for yourself as well. Okay, so you want to pay yourself next. All right. So the first thing we're doing, we're getting paid, is we're paying God. Remember we talked about that last week. It's the first thing you should be doing, and we should do it. What kind of way? How should we feel when we give to God?
Cheerful.
Right, because we went through that, remember? 2 Corinthians 9, 6 to 8, okay? He don't want you to just be like, all right, here, God, whatever. He wants you to be happy about building His kingdom. So, next, we want to pay ourselves. Can we be happy about paying ourselves?
Absolutely.
Shoot. Can I hear from the youth? So, once you pay God, you want to pay yourself. How do you do that? You just put some money to the side. In an account, whatever account you set up at that time. All right? Then we want to pay our bills. Why? Because if you live in a house, if you drive a car, if you borrow money, then you're obligated to pay those people back. Because when you signed the paper, you made a promise that you were going to pay them on time, whatever the terms are, every month, every quarter, every year, whatever. Okay? So we got to do that. All right. God talks about, paying your debts as well. And then, as He says in 2 Corinthians, however it purposes in your heart, you want to give, okay? Give to an individual, to a family, to a charity, to an organization that you think is doing well for people, however you want to do that. All right, so that's the order. If you stay within that, not only will God bless that activity, but you're going to create habits for yourself, a discipline that most Americans, I would venture to say about 90% of Americans don't have this habit. They aren't doing that. That's why they sit down and talk to people like me to fix their problems when they get to my age. All right? So, create this habit now. Now, you're probably not working, you don't have a job. Maybe you get a job in the summer when you're out of school and everything. But when you do, start that. Okay? I'm going to put my sons on, probably embarrassing or whatever, but have you guys ever heard of Miles and Desmond? Have you heard this from me at all?
Yeah.
About how to handle your money?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have I told you guys about tithing?
Yes.
Have you guys worked in the summer?
Yeah.
What do I tell you to do when you get your money?
Save it in time.
Start when you're young.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait till you get my age and start trying to do this stuff. Okay? So start when you're young, create the habit now, the discipline now. All right? So, let's move to the next slide.
Can you say it one more time?
See that? Okay. Start the habit now.
Start when you're young.
Start when you're young. When it comes to dealing with your money and finances, start when you're young. All right? Create the habit now. Because you don't want to wait until you're married with children or even single and older, trying to learn and do this. Believe me. All right, so next slide, please.
I'm sorry,
It's all right.
I'm fast on the draw here. Okay, one more here. There we go.
Okay, so this is the conclusion of this slide. Then we got another one we're going to. We're going to kind of break the stuff down that I've been talking about. So again, if you create this habit for yourself, God is not only going to bless it, but you will position yourself to do other things. All right, things like start a business. Well, how would I start a business? Well, if you've been paying yourself after you pay God first, you would have some money to start a business. If you've been saving, remember we talked about saving, that's the second step. Y'all remember that? Yes? No?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Second step, if I've been putting money away, when that opportunity comes where I can invest in or start a business, guess what? I have the money to do so. Right? Not only that, say I don't start a business, but there's an opportunity for me to invest in stocks, real estate, gold and silver, whatever else. I have some money that I can start doing that because I've been doing what? I've been doing what?
Savings.
Right. Now you may not have all the money you need, but at least you have some that you can at least start. Okay? I'll have money because I've been tithing, saving for myself, and then I have money that I set aside to help at charities, to help those that are in need. Now, when I talk about helping and giving, it doesn't mean like you take on somebody's obligations and they hold for the rest of their life. Okay? You can give once, you can give over a matter of, a period of weeks or months. However you purpose in your heart, you will have it. Because God has blessed you to do that. Because you follow those steps. And then lastly, live a comfortable life. Okay? Whatever that means to you. Alright? No consumer debt. To be able to travel, to be able to buy what you want, what it is you want. You will position yourself to be able to do these things. If you follow those simple 4 little tithing, saving, giving to others. What's the last one? Nobody knows? Look at your paper. Nobody has the paper.
Okay.
I'm sorry, paying bills, then give. I'm messing up myself. Tithing, savings, paying your bills, and then giving, right?
Yes, sir.
Question?
Looks like the baptism is about to come up.
Okay, so let's pause right here, and then we'll come back. Man, that was a wonderful baptism.
Amen.
All right, praise God. So the last thing I was saying is, you can live comfortably if you follow those steps. Okay? All right, so let's move to Money Matters 101. If we can go to
The next one?
yeah, this one. All right, we can go to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay. So this is not anything that's I would say exclusive. Just in my dealings and what I do as far as talking to people a lot about money, what I've read, and who I've listened under, these are some of the top things or main things that people struggle against. Okay, so we talked about money and how it helps our economy, right? The purpose of money and what you use it for. We talked about how to make it. You guys remember that? Yes? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We talked about what God thinks and how we should act towards money, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we talked about the steps that God wants us to follow in terms of handling our money. Okay. So to kind of read between or go in between the lines and talk about some of the things that we as adults and as you will face when you start getting older. These are 5 top things that that you will face as you grow up and start working and running money through your household. Okay? So, first one is budget. Second one is your credit scores. Third one is an emergency fund. And the fourth one is, we talked about business, we mentioned that several times. And the fifth one is a new one you guys haven't heard me talk about or say is cash flow. All right? Let's break these down. Let's start with number 1. If you could go to the next slide, please. All right?
Oh, okay. Just learning the system.
Okay. All right. So budget. Remember we talked about money and how it helps the world economy, the United States economy, the economy all over the world. You guys remember that one?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. You, as an individual, have an economy as well. It's called your personal economy. Okay? When you decide to get married and have children, your economy is going to kind of grow because people will be added to your personal life. So that becomes your economy. Another word for that is budget. Okay? A budget is basically the money that you bring into your house on a monthly basis. All right? So you take that money that you bring in every month that you get from your job or your work, and it becomes your income, your personal income, your personal economy. So this money is going to start flowing through your house. Okay? Paying bills, tithing, giving to others, okay, saving. So all that is, every month you're going to have a certain dollar amount based on what your job pays you is going to flow through your house every month, every year for the next however long you work. Okay? The same if you started a business. Okay? The money will flow through your business. Your business will have a budget. Okay? The United States government has a budget. We talked about that, earlier. We talked about that before, okay? So, again, the budget is your income, your personal economy. It's the money that you make, okay? What gets people into trouble? They start spending more than what they make. and they go over, they start doing what's called over budgeting. They spend over their budget. All right? So, remember we talked about learning stuff right now as a young person? The things we talked about: tithing, saving, paying your bills, giving. This one here, don't spend more than you make. Learn that right now as a young person. I know those Jordans are calling you. I know that nice Nike suit is like lit, man. I gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know, I'm working now. I'm out of school. I'm making some money. Woo! That Challenger, man. That Challenger looks nice. I want to get that. That 2028, that 2030 Challenger. Because they got, you know, you can call Russia from your car in this new Challenger. Man, it's 6-bedroom, 9-bathroom, 3 pools, sitting on 12 acres. Man, I gotta get that. I've had the fattest house on the block. That's how people get in trouble. That's how people get in trouble. They start spending more than what they make. Because you start figuring out, you know, remember we talked about earlier, like week 1, if you see something you really want it, you start, your brain starts thinking about how I'm gonna get it, how I'm gonna get it. Right? So you see something like that, and you start thinking about how I'm gonna get it. You know you ain't got the money, because your budget doesn't call for it. But I gotta get it. And that's when people start getting in trouble. Because they decide to go ahead and make that move. They either borrow the money or do whatever else they need to do to get that item. And next thing you know, they're over budget. Okay? With your budget, you have to account for every dollar. Balance your account. Know where your money is going. Anybody ever heard of the occupation accountant? Anybody know any accountants? Okay. Guess what they do? All they do is make sure the numbers are right. If you work for a company, if you're an accountant, you work for a company, you making sure their numbers, all the money that's flowing through their business, is coming up right. They're accounting for every dollar. They're balancing the account. They're knowing where the money is. Because guess what? The boss is going to say, you know, Mr. Accountant, Mrs. Accountant, give me the numbers. How are we doing this month? How are we doing this quarter? How are we doing this year? What can we do different next year? So, just like an accountant does for a company, you are, or will be, what's called You Inc. There's actually a book called You Inc. Y-O-U-I-N-C, period. You Incorporated. All right? You have a company. When you start making your money, you are your company. If you can't handle your money right, what makes you think you can handle anybody else's money right? And if you get married, what makes you think that when y'all come together, y'all gonna be able to handle the money right? So learn it now. If you get a job this summer, you guys get a job, start right now. I don't care if your mom and dad say, you know, I'll pay you every week to cut the grass, $20. When you get that $20, because you've earned it, tithe 10%. How much is that going to be? Okay. Save 10%. How much is that going to be? How much?
Another $2.
$2. How much do you have left? Okay. If you owe anybody any money, if you borrow money from your brother or your sister,
Or your youth ministry leaders.
or anybody else, make good on that money that you owe. Maybe it's more than the $16 that you have left. You know what I'm saying? But just make an arrangement. Hey, you know, I'll pay you $5 now. Next week I'll get another $20. You know, we'll settle up next week. Is that okay? As long as y'all both agree to the terms, pay your bills. And, you know, if you have somebody that you want to give money to help them out, do that as well. Or give it to your parents, or give it to the church. The church has, you can give money extra, other than tithes, you can give extra money to the church. And just have them to do what they need, can use it for.
Amen.
Right? So there's the 4 things you could do with just $20 a week. But create the habit. It's not about so much the money that you're making, it's the habit you're going to create. That's more expensive than the money. More important than the money that you're going to make. Okay? So, account for every dollar that comes through your budget. Every dollar. Know where it comes from. Learn this now because, as older people, when you get older, it becomes harder to do that because you're not used to doing it. Okay? So, we tell people, carry around a little tablet and just take note of everything you spend. Because, when you do have money, sometimes you spend stuff you don't even realize that that you spend it. You may stop into the store and buy a bag of chips along with the gas, so you spent $30 on gas, but you forgot about the $15 you spent on the chips and the soda and the candy bar. And the next thing you know, you're going, hey, I don't know where my money went. So, learn to account for your money right now. Everything you spend. Okay? Your budget is not something that's written in stone. Okay? It's not like the commandments. Okay? They're immovable. You can't negotiate on it. Your budget is flexible. Okay? So you can move things around in your budget. You can change things. Alright? It's a living thing. Your budget is a living thing because every week, every month, you're looking at it to make sure that you're staying on budget. Okay? So it's a flexible deal. Again, if you stay on budget, if you count for every dollar, you're going to create disciplines and good habits. Good money habits by doing that. Alright? And then your budget is going to include those 4 steps: tithing, saving, bills, and gives. Anybody have questions on that? I can hear your brains moving.
Question.
Yes.
Based on being able to, when you're saying save and all that, where would you would more than likely hold that money in a bank, but nowadays they're online banks. How many accounts would you recommend? Having a spending account and a savings account? Or how would you do that with your budget? How would you manipulate that?
Well, when you say the savings, and we're going to actually get into that, but the savings is money that you set aside for emergencies. We'll talk about that. Okay? It's money that you can set aside for, like we talked about before. If you see an opportunity to start a business or an opportunity to invest in something, that's what those monies are. Now, you can set it up however you wish. You can say, I'm going to put away, every month I'm going to put away $50. 25 will go towards my emergency fund. The other 25 will go to just in case an opportunity comes up that I need. Or it can be 25 will be my fund money. If I decide, to go to the movies, once or twice a month, I'll have some money to set aside to do that. So your savings can be however you wish. Okay? Now this is outside of, as you get older, this is outside of retirement savings and all of that. Okay? So this is a totally different account. Okay? So to answer, I don't know if I answered your question, you can set it up however you want. You can put it in the bank, money market, but it's more of a liquid type of savings. When I say liquid, for the young people, it means money that you can get at right away without there being any penalty for taking it out. So if it's in a savings account in the bank, You can go to the bank and get your money, there's no penalty. Okay? If it's a money market account, similar to having a savings account, you can get the money, there's no penalty. It can even be in, and this is probably going to go way over your head, but it can be in a life insurance policy. Okay? And you need the money right away, you just call the life insurance policy, say, hey, I need a loan, boom, they send it to you. No questions asked. Okay? Retirement savings accounts and things like those, that money isn't liquid. You can't get to it right away. You got to go through a number of steps to get that money if you want it early, and you'll pay penalties, income tax penalties, fees, and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to touch your retirement. Retirement is for when you finally decide, I'm done with working, I'm about to live my rest of my life out, doing whatever it is I need to do, then you go into your retirement savings. This is something different. This is money that you have set aside that you can just get at right away. Okay? It could be in a bank account, it could be in a money market account, it could be under your mattress, it could be in a jar, however you wish it to be. Okay? The advantage of having it in an account or a bank account or a savings account or a money market account is that they will pay you interest for leaving that money in there. Okay, so your money will grow at some form of interest. Not a whole lot, but your money will grow. Okay, versus just putting it under your mattress or in a jar at home. You know, you won't get any interest on that kind of money. Any other questions? Nope. All right.
Next one.
I was thinking of a question. All right, so everybody understands budget, right? It's the money that's going to come to your household. It's the money that comes to your own personal income, your own personal economy. And you're going to know where your money is going at all times. All right, next slide, please. So, credit was the next one. Okay, how much? Who's keeping time? I want to at least get through the first 3.
You know what, you got, I only gave 14 minutes.
14 minutes? Okay.
14 minutes.
Okay. So credit is a big one, okay? Right now, you guys, unless you are paying a bill or you borrow some money, you guys have no credit, okay? That's not a totally bad thing. But a credit is basically, once you get to a point where you're making money and you're paying a loan back, you're paying a credit card bill back, you're paying a car loan back or a mortgage, you're going to start building what's called a credit history. All right, so your credit is basically built up of a score. These 3 companies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, keeps track. Let's say you have a car loan, you have a mortgage, and you have a student loan, okay? And comes time where you have to pay your bills. So you pay your bills and you're paying these bills, all right? And every month, your car loan is due on the first, or your mortgage is due on the 1st of the month, your car loan is due on the 15th, and your student loan is also due on the 15th of every month. And every month, you pay your mortgage. Everybody know what a mortgage is? It's like rent, okay? Only that you don't have an apartment. When you have an apartment, you pay rent. When you own a house, or you're buying a house, you pay a mortgage. The only difference is the amount that you pay. You know, rents are like $1,500, $2,000, or whatever a month. Home loans or home mortgages can be more than that, $2,500, $3,000, depending on the size of your home and where you live. Okay, so it's basically all you're paying is the bank. When you have a mortgage, you're paying the bank every month until you own the house. You're paying it off. All right, paying the loan off. So, but every 1st of the month, you're paying your mortgage on time. Every 15th of the month, you're paying your car loan and your student loan on time. That means that the company that loaned you that money, they're getting their payment from you on time on the 1st and the 15th. It's never late. Okay? They will report to these 3 companies, they meaning your mortgage company, your bank, your loan people for your car loan, and your student loan. They're going to report to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Anybody ever seen a commercial, Experian moves the purple cow? Anybody see that commercial? Okay. They're the Experian company, okay? These companies keep track of your credit score. All right? And this is the range that you can get for your credit score, from as low as 300 up to 850. It's the highest. The lowest you can go, the highest you can go. As you can see, 300 is poor, 850 is excellent. In between those numbers, you have poor, fair, good, all the way up to excellent, depending on the number. Okay? 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 850. So, the more you pay your bills on time, never late, the better your credit score. Okay? Which is what you want. You create a good credit history, your credit score is always going to be good. All right? This is part of those 4 habits, paying your bills on time. Okay? It shows credit worthiness, that you pay your debts on time versus not paying them or not paying them at all. Credit worthiness is important because if you decide to start a business, invest in anything, buy a home or car, or even a cell phone over there, they look at your credit because they want to know, these companies want to know how well you pay your bills. Do they pay on time? Are they late? Are they late sometimes? Or do they pay at all? And that's how they determine whether they're going to give you the loan or give you the product. Okay? But having a good credit score and a good credit history creates opportunities, allows you to borrow money, which is debt. And this could be a good or a bad thing. Okay? We'll talk about that in a minute. So, here's another area where people fall into problems. And I get a lot of people saying, can you help me build my credit? Can you help me repair my credit? What can you do about credit? When people ask for my help, can you help me repair my credit score? Man, I got some of these things going on. Can you help me fix this? Why? Because they weren't disciplined. They fell into the trap of, I gotta have it now, and paid more than their budget allowed them to, and they got into trouble. Now, we ain't judging them, but it just happens. It happens all the time. Just about, I would say if I talk to 5 people, 4 of them have credit problems and need credit repair. Okay? So, again, as a young person, guard this, your credit score. Guard it. Because it's important. And I'll explain to you how it's going to be so important to you later on. All right? If you go over budget and you have to start using credit cards and borrowing money to pay the bills, you're going to jack up the credit history and your score. And it's going to be harder and harder for you to do things in life. Okay? Now, it's not bad to get a credit card. It's not bad to borrow money. Okay, we'll talk about that. All right? It's just knowing how to use it. Use it for the right purpose. And when you use it, to make sure you're paying it back. So that you can keep using it. And it's only going to help your score if you pay it on time and you're doing right by staying on top of the bills that you've created, the debt that you've created. All right? Anybody have any questions about that? Anybody ever heard credit score, credit cards? Yes, no?
Okay, absolutely.
Okay. You know anybody who used credit cards? Friends, family members, mom, dad. You guys, you ever been to a restaurant? Mom and dad whip out the credit card, pay for the food. Okay. So, very important. Okay, very important. Now, let's talk about this bottom one here, debt, borrowing money. We can go to the next slide, please.
Quick question?
Yeah.
Now, on the credit history, just wanted to just note what you were saying. You really need to understand that the credit card, that the credit history and credit score he's talking about is kind of like your credit report card. It will follow you all the days of your life. And you have, so as you're starting out, just like he says, as you're starting out, you make sure you keep it clean. Because as young people, they definitely are going to want you to get credit. The question is how you're going to manage it.
Absolutely.
And that is a subject all in itself, and how to manage your credit.
Yes.
One thing real quick, and some of you seniors who are probably getting ready to go to college.
Yep.
So this is what's, at least this is what happened at my college. Your first couple of days on campus, there are going to be a lot of people sitting out front of the university centers or what have you, and they're going to have nice looking t-shirts or little tchotchkes, little stuff they can give you. And they're going to say, hey, we're going to give you this nice tumbler or whatever, this t-shirt, if you sign up for this credit card. Watch it, don't fall prey. If you can, before you even go to school, talk with your parents about possibly getting a credit card with your parents so they can talk to you about it. I fell prey. They gave this old snotty-nosed dude back in the day, Discover gave me a $3,000 limit. Don't ask me why they gave me it, but I got me a tight t-shirt though. It was a tight t-shirt, and I got so many cash advances off that thing to get some pizza for me and my friends. Is a crying shame. Traps. Traps on your college campuses. Be careful.
Good point, because I actually meant to mention that too. When I was at college, now I don't know if they do it electronically now, digitally, with kids now, but just like you said, there's about 3 or 4 people at a table like this, and they had all kind of fun-looking stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it was in the college center, okay, the student center. And you walk past and they stop and you, hey, you want a free flashlight? You want a free t-shirt? You want a free this? Oh yeah. Well here, just fill this out and get a credit card. Now at the time I didn't know what a credit card was, but I had my friends helping to sell that with them. It was like, man, Keith, sign this. We're gonna get a credit card. We can go to the mall, we can do this.
Yep.
And next thing you know, I was signing it. And before I knew it, in my mailbox, in 2 weeks, was a credit card, MasterCard. What? And on the paper it said what the balance was. The credit balance, $300, $500. What? I'm a college student, I ain't got no money. Let's go to the mall. And that's what we did. And ringing that credit card up. Guess what? Next week, Amex was there. American Express was there. Well, I know how it works now. What y'all got free? Okay, all right, I'm gonna sign this. 2 weeks later, Amex card.
Yeah.
Same thing. Ran to the mall, and my friends, man, don't worry about it. When we get out of college, we don't get a job, we can pay all this off. All right, cool. Got my Amex card, my MasterCard next. Visa was there. Same thing. 3 credit cards
What about the one
as a
the mail-in? When they mail, they say pre-approved.
exactly.
What's your name?
When you start doing that, when you sign your name one time to one card, your mailbox is flooded
Yes.
with a bunch of banks sending you these same advertisements. Get a card, you're pre-approved. Up to $2,000 limits. And you start filling out all that stuff and hoping to get a card, and you start getting yourself in trouble. Okay?
Man.
So, as a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old in college, They ain't sit down in this class. They ain't hearing this.
That's right.
Okay, I didn't hear it. You know, my parents were just happy that I was going to college. They didn't tell me about all this. So I fell prey to it too. Came out of college with not only a student loan, but with credit card debt. Had to find a job because I got to pay those bills. So you get to college, don't do it. Walk right past the table. Guess what? Those companies ain't going nowhere.
Right. They'll be there when you're
Okay? I graduated from college in 1988. They are still sending me stuff to get a credit card. They ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
So you have all your life to decide to get a credit card. Okay? So don't get, if you ain't got no money coming into your house or flowing through your house, you don't need to get a credit card. Because how you going to pay it off if you use it?
Mr. King?
Yes.
What's the difference between a credit card and a debit card?
A credit card is basically, both of them come from a bank. Did anybody hear the question? Credit card versus debit card, what's the difference? Anybody hear the question? Okay. Both of them come from a bank, okay? And it has either a Visa symbol on it, Discover, American Express symbol, or MasterCard symbol, okay? And you guys know what those symbols look like? Familiar with those symbols?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The difference between a debit card and a credit card is the debit card is attached to your bank account, right? So whatever you have in your bank account is the amount you can spend. All right, so if it's $500, your debit card is good for $500. If you pay some bills and that $500 is now $300, your debit card is good for $300.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. All right, so a credit card comes from a bank as well. Has a Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover symbols on it, whichever one you get. The difference is a credit card is much like a loan. The bank puts a limited amount on the card. Okay, it can either be $300, $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, $5,000. And if you're really good, you might get up to the $10,000s or an unlimited, amount, credit limit. But all it is a loan. They're just saying, okay, this credit card is good for $1,000. We're loaning you $1,000. As long as you continue to use it and pay us back, you'll always have $1,000 that we're loaning you. So you get a credit card from a bank, it's not tied to your bank account. You can use it up to $1,000 if it's a $1,000 limit. Okay? And then you use it, you spend $200, you pay it back, you're back to $1,000, now you got $1,000 to use again. You use it again, and you just can use it over and over and over and over. As long as you're paying it on time, the money will always be there for you. Okay? So that's the difference between a credit card and a debit card. All right? So, can we go to the next slide real quick? So the one of the messages there is credit is a great thing if you know how to use it. It's a great tool. It can really help you out. It can really help you out in life. Okay? But a lot of people fall prey to it because they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to use it. We mentioned this a little bit, I think, last week. Okay? Debt. Good versus bad. Good debt puts money in your pocket. You can borrow other people's money and you can invest in real estate. Maybe you want to start a car rental company, gym shoes or sneakers, okay? Whatever, sell those things. But what is good debt? Basically, bad debt, let me just state bad debt. Bad debt takes money out of your pocket. If you pay a mortgage on a house, personal loans, credit cards, student loans, it's bad debt. Okay? Good debt puts money in your pocket. Bad debt takes money out of your pocket. Okay? So what's an example of a good debt? Well, I think I gave an example one time. Say you buy a house. You're not going to live in it. You're not going to live in it. You're going to fix it up so that somebody else can come and rent and live there. Let's say you buy the house, the mortgage is $500. So you pay the bank every month $500 for that house. The person that you decide to let live in it is going to pay you $1,000. Maybe $1,200, whatever you set the rent to be. Okay? So you're going to pay the bank the $500 every month because you owe them for the mortgage. And whatever the difference is, you will keep. Right? You didn't buy the house with your money, you borrowed it from the bank. And you borrowed the money to fix it up from the bank. So that's a good debt, because why? If they're paying me $1,000 and my mortgage is $500, I'm making $500 a month. And I didn't use my own money. I used the bank's money. Same thing with gym shoes, car. To start a business, I borrow the money to start the business. As I sell my products or provide my service, and I start making money from all of that, and I use that money to pay all my overhead and my debts back, but I'm left with money left over after all of that. That's a profit. So that's a good debt, because I'm making money not using my own. I'm borrowing money. I went into debt to start it, but I'm making money off of that money that I borrowed. I know a guy that used credit cards, bought a supply of watches because he had friends who liked to wear watches. So he took his credit card and bought an inventory of watches, used that credit card as a loan to buy the watches, and he sold them to his friends. Paid his credit cards back, but whatever he had left over went into his pocket. That's a good debt. Okay? Bad debt, again, takes money out of your pocket. I'll try to, give you guys some information. But here, let's pray out, and then I'll answer that question. Father God, thank you for this opportunity that you've given us in learning what you say about money and how to treat it, how to manage it, how to cheerfully give to you, and acknowledging and understanding that the fact that you will bless us, you have blessed us, and that you will bless our activity as we continue to manage and be good stewards over money.
I can't believe you died for me on that cross. Oh Lord, you even saved my soul. I can't believe you died for me on that cross. Oh Lord, you even saved my soul when you were on that cross.